What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You already know what time it is. This is your boy, the historian. We're getting ready to get to it. You know how we get down. You either get right or you get left. It's the Birdcage, man. We got a lot for you. Sit back, relax. We got you covered. Let's go.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
What's going on? It's your boy, the historian. You know how we get down. You either get right or you get left. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Birdcage. We have the magnificent Birdcage crew in the building. We're getting ready to get to it. So, as we said before, it's the off season. We're gonna go ahead and do this thing right. We got K Dub and we also got Graybeard in the building. What's up, fellas?
What it is, what it do, fellas. Good to be in the building tonight. Really talk about these hot topics we got tonight. Graybeard, the historian. Let's get into it.
What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling, man?
Ready to get this thing
great.
kicked off and started. Great.
What it is, foot?
So, serious talks about Kyle Pitts leaving the Falcons at this point. It's not just smoke. It's actually fire to it at this point. ESPN has reported it. Then you've had Sports Illustrated, Daniel Flick. He's even reported it. So there's some truth to this. How do you feel about the fact that we've gotten all this way with Kyle Pitts as a former first round pick that had high expectations that has not met the expectations since his rookie year, minus the injury year?
I feel like the front office just don't want to admit that they made the wrong pick. And now I think their friction, because Kyle Pitt is starting to realize that he's not, I don't even think he wanted here. He's not wanted here by the organization, and he's not wanted here by the fan base. And now we're here trying to figure out a suitable trade partner, which we do need to pick. I'm not saying to pick on that next year because we do need them. But I just think we reached too high for a tight end. Nobody has ever done this in NFL history. We're the first team in NFL history to draft a tight end top 5. And now it comes down to a first round pick. And now you pretty much now got to see who wants him. I mean, I think they're concluded who would want him, and he might flourish, but it's just the fact that we got that pick wrong when we already knew we should have went elsewhere with that pick.
It's funny to hear you say that because I remember you were one of the ones who was like the unicorn, holding the horn up, saying all that.
I mean, if we draft the guy, I'm going to get behind the guy.
I mean, we support him, but here's the thing. We all said a few of us, I know Coach Brandt did, myself, Coach Cam, even before we started ragging him, calling him the government mule and everything else, we all said that he didn't fit what we did.
Yeah,
That
I
was the
agree.
pick that we didn't need.
I
But
agree.
everybody was like, oh, you just hate. No, like, what is there to hate when we telling the truth about the whole thing?
No, I agree because I was like, why are we reaching this high for a tight end where we could have got? I wanted Jameer Chase. Everybody on record knew that I wanted Jameer Chase.
Yeah, you did say that. We do have that
Jamar.
recorded. Jamar Chase.
Jamar.
You thinking of Jameer Gibbs?
No, I thought it was Jamar. I mean, Jamar Chase. I wanted Chase.
Yeah.
I wanted that. That's the guy because when Julio left, we want to come out to replace Julio. I'm like, there's your guy right there.
And here's the thing. When the type of offense that we had, you had a Calvin Ridley before he got caught up in gambling. You didn't know what was going to happen with Julio because he was pissed at the front office. And we all found out a little bit about that a little bit later, that things were just not kosher. And I get it. But at the same time, we were struggling bad on defense, worse than offense. We still had production. We still had production on offense.
True.
And then Cordell Patterson became the workhorse for us. Him. Shout out to Duke Huntley. Unfortunately, he tore his Achilles that year, and that's when we found out about who? Tyler Algier. So again, when you sit back and you look at it, we had production. The problem was we just didn't have a quarterback after Matt Ryan left. We didn't.
Yeah, it was like either we want a quarterback, a wide receiver, or somebody on defense that can impact our defense and make it better. Defensive end, defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like they just kind of have to you just look at Looms. They made the wrong decision. It tells by them not re-signing him to a big major deal on the second contract. So it's in the cards for him to get traded. It just depends on what we can get for him moving forward.
But the thing is, I was saying last year when we had him and people were still having all that buzz, I said, man, y'all, we got to get rid of this cat and get him to get picks. I was saying that last year. We got to get something for him because you get rid of him before that money contract comes up because guess what? You're stuck with him if you don't cut him. So, again, I'm at the point where it's like, look, thank you for your services. You played here in Atlanta, but, hey, deuces. I'd rather take a third-round pick and get this pick back because now Kirk Cousins cost us a pick this year because of him being such the great Samaritan. And as we say in the service, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Shout out to my Navy brethren right there. I'm Coast Guard, he Navy. How we say it, K-Dub? Loose lips sink ships. we tell people that's a true statement, and those loose lips cost us. But at this, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, I was just reiterating what you were saying.
At this point, why not try to explore the option? Cincinnati is dumb enough to take him, but I think maybe they can use him. Maybe they can use him properly and actually get the production out of him that we didn't get out of him.
Especially if T. Higgins decides to go elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Because if T. Higgins goes, they can replace him. But guess what? They actually use their tight ends in the red zone.
Oh, God.
We don't do that.
Yeah, but he'll be like the third tight end from us that we. You remember Hurst? He went over there.
Hayden Hurst.
And
he ended up going to Baltimore at 1.2 and playing and did well until they got Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
Well, we can get rid of him and try to bring Hooper back then.
Man, come on, bro.
I think Hoop is on his last leg. I think but you know what?
Hey.
I'll take a veteran Hooper at this point.
We should never got.
I ain't saying for a long-term deal.
We should have never got rid of him.
Remember, Zach Ertz right now is balling for the Washington Commanders, and he getting ready to face his old team in the NFC Championship this weekend.
That's gonna be a good game.
I just know we're gonna have to move some money around. Hooper is very familiar with the city of Atlanta, and we can keep him and Fitzpatrick and move forward. He has better, sure hands than both of the tight ends we have on roster now. He's a lot longer in the tooth, but I believe he can help us get to where we can draft another tight end in the next coming upcoming drafts, not this draft. This draft is loaded. We want a defensive laden loaded draft. So that's what I'm looking for. If we do go offensive, I want offensive line. That's it on the offensive side. We do take an offensive player.
Yeah,
I agree. I
agree. First pick needs to be O-line or D-line. Honestly, that needs to be the first pick. O-line or D-line. You got to get your two players.
Yeah,
you got to get your two players.
Because if you go back and look at our last 3 drafts, they've been straight offense. Straight offense.
Mm-hmm.
It's time now to address the elephant in the room, which is our defense. We already know what the problem is. We need to just go ahead and address it now.
Well, we gonna get to that because a lot of Falcon fans ain't gonna like what we have to say because right now they're not gonna like what we're saying about Kyle Pitts. Look, the production is not here. Now, if you want to take a chance on keeping him here with Michael Pitt Jr. and allowing him to see what you can get, let it ride. But until then, you can't. I already see StreamYard as being StreamYard as usual. So I'm going to pop out and pop back in, but I'm gonna leave it like this. And then, matter of fact, I'm going to let you run with this. If you let him stay, what are the possibilities of letting him – what are the possibilities of you letting him grow with this guy, and what do you think Michael Penix Jr. can bring out of him? K-Dub, you start that one, then Gray Beard, I'm going to pop right back in.
Go for it.
He's speaking on
if
Pitts?
we if we decide to keep Pitt, do you think him and Michael Penix will be able to get that chemistry, moving forward?
No. Okay, that's a blatantly no. Okay, because this guy blew the game. We already know what happened. We don't want to go back down that avenue or that street that we already been down with Kyle Pitts and Mr. Penix Jr. I feel like we need to grow with a tight end that has better hands. This guy has a lot of athletic ability, but his hands are very questionable. So if we can off him and hit somebody with a banana in the tailpipe, let's do that. And let's try to figure out where we can get some picks for this guy. That's what I'm all about. I'm not about this guy collecting any more checks, pulling a Matt Schaub on this franchise, okay? I'm not about that. I understand that they made the wrong decision and taking him at 8, and they shouldn't even took him at 10 or 12. He should have been a late first-round pick if he got taken in the first round. He should have been a late first-round pick by his play. He only had 1 good season out of 3. You've been injured. You're injury-prone, and you quit on routes. And you don't give full effort, and you're not a team player. So I hate that other teams can watch this podcast, but I'm trying to make it pretty for them. But I mean, I'm just hoping that another coach can be like, no, I can get more out of him. I can make him into a All-American Pro Bowler. I need a coach to feel that way so they can take this guy off our hands because he's had an opportunity to prove himself in the city of Atlanta. And he seems to want to get traded because he doesn't seem to give that full out effort that he don't want to get traded. Even in press conferences, he's so lackluster and lackadaisical in his press conference. I mean, I'm sick of it as a fan and as a loyalist to the Atlanta Falcons. And I wish that they would go ahead and get that burden off our hands. I feel he's a liability versus an asset to the organization right now.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let Graybeard jump on it. But here's the thing: you can't put lipstick on a pig, man.
I'm laughing.
I'm with you on that. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna actually put a star by that comment. Your comment has been saved for the night, Island Mike. Shout out to our man Island Mike out in Puerto Rico. But let's be honest, fellas. When you really sit back and you look at everything that's going on with this team. Everything that's going on with this team. When you hear somebody who's supposed to be the face of your franchise say, I just work here.
Not a good look.
Yeah. The hell?
Not
what you mean you just work here? You were a first-round pick. You supposed to be the guy.
4.
But my thing is, I understand the argument from those Pitts lovers. Hey, you Pittites. That's what I call you, Pittites.
Wow.
You Pittites. This is just what it is. And yes, we're coining that. We call them the Pittites over here. So this is just how it goes. We know he's got this athletic ability. He didn't have a quarterback. Guess what? The quarterback argument dies now. You know why? Brock Bowers had 3 different quarterbacks, and one of those quarterbacks was his, Desmond Ritter. And Brock Bowers is in the conversation for being NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he also had a mention for the MVP, whether you realize it or not. He's not going to get it, but he was mentioned in that conversation because of coming in and dominating the way that he did. That is what you call a unicorn, my friend. A guy that can do it with bad talent around him, and he still shined and had 10 touchdowns. So, I mean, what can you say? I'm sorry, he had 6 tutties. I thought it was 10.
Okay.
Well, we know. Wait a
He
minute.
had over 11. He had a 1,194 yard big touchdown.
That is true. He did get 6 touchdowns. But all I'm saying is this: at this point, what can you do? But just sit back and just laugh at this point. That's all you can do. Is just laugh. So, the next topic of the day. StreamYard wants to be StreamYard, but they ain't gonna let it stop us. We getting ready to get this thing right. Yeah, I'm still talking trash, and I'm still putting the information out here for the individuals that are here. So regardless, we're gonna work through this. So the next thing we're going to talk about is this. We talked about Pitts possibly going to Cincinnati. They might be able to get something out of them, but there are 4 veterans that could become cap casualties this year. We already know Kirk Cousins is at the top of the list. The next player that's a cap casualty possibly will be Grady Jarrett. After Grady Jarrett, then you have David Onyemata. And then you have, lastly, D'Angelo Malone. Let me get it out. You doing too much, bro. You're doing too much, fam. Thank you. D'Angelo Malone. So now you can go ahead and jump on that. I was just trying to get them out. So what you got?
We all know Grady Jarrett is a hometown favorite, and you know, I don't want him to go, but we got to do we got to do what's best for the logo. That's what I'm gonna say. We got to do what. I don't want him to go. I got to do what's best for the logo. At the end of the day, I don't want to. I don't want to take another major cap hit again with Kirk Cousins. Like it or not, we might have to hold on to this man. Because at the end of the day, we still got to find our free agent. I mean, our draft pick. Even if we stay at 4, we might get a couple more. We got to have money for that. So we just can't be just taking cap hits every other year and thinking we're gonna be able to build a team. That's not how it works. But Onyemata, I can see him being a cap hit. I can definitely see that being a cap hit. And Malone, I can see him being a cap hit. I can see those 2 being cap hit off rip. The last 2, I don't know. I don't know. I think if anything, they'll try to trade Grady and see if anybody willing to take on some of that money and his services. But I think we should have, if we were gonna do that, we should have did that probably a couple of years ago, while he still was in his prime, really, before he had that major injury. But like I said, I don't want him to go. If he does go, it's probably for best for the logo.
K-Dub, what you got, man?
I mean, I just feel differently about the situation. I feel Grady, you've had your time. You had time to be great in this organization, and you didn't do nothing with it. I feel like you squandered it. Your best year to me was that rookie year. This is my opinion, sir, of Grady. I mean, I feel like he did good here, but what really did we do? We had a bunch of losing seasons. Let's keep it real. Then he came back from injury, all slim and trim. We need you big out there. You look like you got an old Ozempic or something. So I think it's time for us to explore options and get rid of Grady and see if we can explore a trade like Graybeard is saying. But I just feel like everybody's time and a place dissolves, man. I mean, even this year, I mean, he had made a few plays, but he really wasn't the Grady that came in his rookie season that was hitting and sacking Tom Brady like that. I mean, I just feel I had higher hopes for his career. That's me personally. I expected more out of him, but I feel like he's maxed out as a 5th-round pick. That's because he was a 5th-round pick. I feel like he's maxed out as a 5th-round pick. I mean, he did as much as the 5th-round pick is he going to do. So everybody has a time and place. It was a time to get rid of Julio. It was a time to get rid of Matt Ryan. It was a time to get rid of a lot of players in this organization. And it's time for Grady to move on. This is a business. I understand he's from here, born and raised, but it's time to move on. I mean, I feel like they get rid of one at a time, though. I don't get rid of both at a time. I feel like Onyemata stays one more year, then I get rid of him next year. I feel like Grady's time to go this year. Malone is gone. I feel like they keep Onyemata, though. And Kirk Cousins, I feel like they keep Kirk Cousins one more year because I want you to do what I brought you in to do. You're supposed to mentor Michael Penix Jr. Instead of doing it from the front, you're going to do it from the back. That's it. You're going to be over there with that Microsoft tablet, and you're going to be over there coaching something. Or I'm trying to push you into that TV role you was doing the other day when you was up there with Ryan Clark then. and just go ahead and slide off into the sunset, either one. So that's what I feel about the situation, and I'll pass it on to the story.
I say this: Grady came into a situation where he's coming off a major knee injury. You're talking about a defensive lineman in the pit, in the trenches. It's more of a mental aspect when you talk about a guy that's coming off of a knee injury, a 300-pounder at that. So for him, I knew that he wasn't going to be what he was before he tore his knee up. Because if you remember, right before he tore his knee up, he was dominating. Now, if you're going to try to hold on to some cash, then you keep him around for another year. This is if you hold on to cash. Now, if you don't care about it and you just want to rip the Band-Aid off, slide, make a little cash, but at the same time, you can see what you can get for him. But I really don't think that – I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't think that you're going to be able to get anything out of him at this point because you're long in the tooth. I think if he goes somewhere else and has a change of scenery, they might be able to get the last few years out of him. But at this point, Jalen Carter should have been his replacement. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. Yeah, we got Bijan. He is a talent. He is an exceptional talent. But damn it, we needed somebody in the trenches. We lose games because we cannot control the trenches at all. And I'm not even just gonna say Jalen Carter. You've had chances to get other defensive linemen from Sweat, Murphy, and then you got Newton that's in Washington right now. You've had a chance to get a defensive tackle to replace Grady, but at the same time, front office didn't do its due diligence. You felt like that you could win with what you have, and then let's be honest, you grabbed Braylon Trice. Trice had a great college career, but again, you heard about Trice his senior year when they was winning, but how many times did you really hear about the kid unless you're a true college football fan? Honestly. Jared Verse was carrying Florida State from the time he stepped foot on campus until the time he got to the NFL. And you pretty much see what he's done in the NFL as a true rookie coming off the edge. We still don't know what we have in Trice. And if Trice isn't that good, we're going to still look like we have egg on our face. So being realistic about this, we pretty much took a step back this year defensively. We took a step back.
Did we draft somebody else from Oregon?
Yeah. Brandon Dorless, who has not touched the field, he got less than 20 tackles. Thank you. He's got less than 30 snaps on the team. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead.
I'm just saying. I didn't really see him on the field the entire year.
Yeah, he got on the field, but he's trash right now. He trash right now. He got on the field.
I can't, and you know what? I can't even call him trash.
I'm not gonna say he's a bust. I said right now.
Oh, I can't even call him that because he couldn't even get on the field
because he got Dorless got in the game.
He barely got in the game, and that was around the end of the season. That playbook is what slowed him down. He couldn't learn the playbook.
I know he didn't get in. I know he didn't get in from the beginning of the season. What I'm saying, but he got in later in the season. But when they gave him a chance, he wasn't ready yet. You're not ready. So I'm gonna give you 3 years, just like we gave Pitts them 3 years. It's time you definitely not ready. It's time you trade you. So what's what I'm trying to get at? A lot of these guys are just slowly developing. Like we end up getting all them sacks at the end of the season. Boys was slowly developing. We keep trying to put all these band-aids on all these guys. Play the guy that you drafted, man. Just like the Rams did. You know how many rookies they had out there on the field? Play these boys, man. Why you draft me? You ain't gonna play me.
And they almost won their divisional round game. They were coming back.
And they gonna take their lumps.
And
that's what people don't understand. You're gonna take lumps.
They was in the snow. They went in the snow. They'll beat the hell out of the guy.
No.
I ain't gonna say that. I'm be honest with you. I think
not beat the hell out of them, but I think they could have had a better shot to win if they weren't playing in the snow.
I think they still had a shot. The problem was that offensive lineman just missed Jalen Carter. And Jalen Carter let everybody know, hey, it's a reason why I was a number 1 draft pick. And he pretty much said game, set, match.
I love him and Nolan. I'm just saying,
him and Nolan Smith.
They would have played a better game. They not worried about my hand freezing. Them boys coming from LA with a wildfire. They didn't got no water out there. So know they was cold.
But Saquon had over 205 yards
in that game, literally, because nobody thought the Rams would get that far anyway during the season.
Exactly.
And they had nothing to lose. They was playing with house money. If I'm gonna be real,
they didn't just get ran. They didn't get ran out the building. But I'm saying I'm trying to get the point across is they got that far, but they had a lot of rookies on that team. Play the guys that we drafted. They not got them to develop, sitting on the bench, just looking at Microsoft tablets and playing tic-tac-toe and stuff on the sidelines. I don't know, man. Play these guys.
Well,
play with scissors rock. They playing something.
Well, here's the thing. You got to blame that on your head coach because your head coach at this point is, how can I put it, man? The head coach at this point is on the I wouldn't say he's on the hot seat, but I know people that turned up the heat on him. They've already turned up the heat on him. And at this point, you have to be honest with yourself and look at some of the methods that you used this year. It's not working. It's not working. I get you trying to keep some stuff to your vest, but guess what? You're going to have to let these young guys eventually get out there. How are they going to ever learn? How are they ever going to play? You can put everything on the chalkboard every day. You can talk about it till you're blue in the face. But guess what? If they're not getting game reps, if they're not getting experience, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The team is going to continue to suffer, and you're never going to know what you have, and you're not going to draft properly. Let's just be honest on that. If you don't know what you have and what you're working with, how are you going to know what to add on to, what to cut off, what to get rid of, what to bring in? It's just common knowledge, but common sense ain't so common. That's just me.
Not really ain't.
Yeah, common sense ain't so common today in this world.
But do we put more emphasis on pre-season, making sure they get reps? To get ready
I think they should get reps, but I don't think they should be playing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they should probably play maybe the last game or whatever. You don't have to play them in the first 2, but you should play them in the last 1 or 2 games. That's just me.
Okay.
They don't have to play the whole game, but you got to give them some reps. You have to.
I agree.
Because we saw what Kirk Cousins looked like once he got the rust knocked off before he had that terrible decline. He finally got in rhythm, just like the receivers. And I said it was going to take at least 7 games, and it took 7 games to get in rhythm.
Yeah, it did.
And then it fell off. Then it just fell off a cliff.
Man, Kirk Cousins know he wasn't. He played us, man. You know he wasn't 1,000%, man. But when the league
we know that wasn't all on him, though. We know that Raheem had a big voice in that because they spent money, him and Terry.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but they $45 because once the league finds out these high-paid defensive coordinators, they start seeing his limitations. Because as soon as Penix Jr. comes into the fold, man, the whole playbook changed. I'm like, we weren't running none of this.
Well, you gotta also.
I'm like, come on, man.
Well, you also got to remember this too. Penix was still learning the playbook himself. That's the other reason I guarantee he probably didn't play. Yeah, he was picking up on stuff, but you got to think about it. For him being a quarterback, the playbook is already damn near this big. Now you're not even talking about the side adjustments. That's just all the plays that they're running and packages he's learning. Then you got to get into the side adjustments that he has. Then you got to get into the film study that he has. Then you got to get into the timing. Yeah, as a rookie, I think he could have done it. But as a rookie, I think he could have done it. Jaden Daniels just got thrown out there, but Daniels had a team around him that helped him. He had a defense. That defense was built before Dan Quinn got there. That's right, courtesy of Ron Rivera. That offensive line was there before he got there. So,
and a hell of an OP.
Daniels fell into a beautiful situation.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. He fell into a great situation and started off great.
Yeah. But you still, those guys, all those quarterbacks got taken play at least with five or six seasons because they had the COVID year. So I just feel like Penix was in that same mix with him and Bo Nix. I feel like he would just took a hold of that playbook and just learned and grew like those guys did also. But I mean, there's neither here nor there. He set.
I'm okay with him sitting early. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a proponent of throwing guys out there because it's either sink or swim. Jaden Daniels he fell into a great situation. Bo Nix fell into a good situation. All the other rookie quarterbacks, you really look at it, those were the only two that really shined like that. Let's be real. Everybody else,
Caleb Williams
went up and down.
He got a good team. He got a good team. It was just the coaching.
He got the coordinator. Everybody keep on.
He do. He got Ben Johnson. So now let's see what he really can do in the offense that Ben Johnson runs.
Yeah, he gonna get it right.
We ain't getting no Duzier now. We got Ben Johnson. he gonna make.
And the question is this: who's gonna be the OC? Who's gonna be the OC in Chicago for him? Because they're gonna be running Ben's system.
He might bring some people from within the Detroit freaking organization.
Ooh, he might strip them, boy.
Him and
Aaron Glenn getting ready to do the same thing. He just got the job for the Jets. So Dan Campbell, he could put together a staff and he built that team. But let's see what the Lions are gonna look like now that the two main components that kept this thing running are gone.
Yeah.
But speaking of gone.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of gone, Kirk Cousins cost us a pick. A slip of the tongue benefits the Minnesota Vikings this year in the draft. Period.
Yep. They just extended their coach.
And all I can say is at this point, which direction do you think Terry has to go? Because we already wasted $180 million, really $100 million guaranteed. We wasted that on this man. And then when you look at it, now I got to give him his credit because we were in the runnings because of him. Let me make sure I put that out clear. We were in the running because of Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Our defense before it fell off. And then he carried the offense because the defense couldn't figure it out until later. Now, before his decline, we got to just be fair. We had a 3-game division lead because of this man.
Yeah.
Incompetence is what cost us. Just like incompetence at that press conference with him. That cost us a pick. How do you guys feel that Terry has to go about trying to garner and get a pick back at this point? Now
I think
his $180 million investment.
I think with the Kyle pick, I think that's what he's banking on. The key, okay, if Cincinnati really is serious, can I get that lower second or early third round pick? And that's what he make it on. And I still think he might trade down in the draft. He gonna try to
trade down.
No, but he looking at it like this. We made a mistake with the Kyle pick. We lost the pick with Kirk Cousins. Let me see if I can try to work the magic to at least get 3 more picks out of this draft. Because we can have a total of pick. Well, I think 7 picks. I'm sorry. So he gonna try to work the magic.
I just feel like he's gonna make some magic, but you don't have to trade down on your first round pick. You take the guy at 15 because of this draft is not a deep draft like last year's draft, in my opinion. And then you trade down in some of these. Then you can trade down in some of your other picks in the later rounds. Then because you're always willing and dealing as the draft goes. Then you can always trade down and gather more picks later in the draft. I can see that scenario. But at 15, I think you take the best available defensive player or offensive lineman that we could take. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I'm not saying trade all the way down to 30. If you can trade with somebody to get 17, swap pick, and then maybe get another pick on that, we can probably still get our guy and still gain a pick.
So here's the thing. If you do trade back, here's the other thing. Depending on what you're going to get, that's the question. Yeah. What are you going to get for that? Yeah. If you're going to trade back, what do you expect him to get for that first round pick for 15? What do you expect? What do you expect them to get?
Probably a late second, third.
If I'm going to trade back, I need a minimum of 3 picks.
Oh,
I need a minimum of three to 4 picks.
With the 15th
if I'm going to give up that 15, if I'm going to give up the first round at the 15th spot, I need 3 guaranteed picks.
Yeah, I like that.
I need 3. And here's my thing, and I'm not trying to get any picks for next year. I need 3 picks for this year, right now. So if you give me a second, you give me a third, hell, I'll take a 5th. Because you're not going to get a 4th depending on what team it is. So I'm looking at it like this. The Falcons' sweet spot is this. Everybody knows the Falcons draft great players in the middle rounds. Bijan was obvious. You get Drake London. Pitts is a bust. But let's be real. And you got Penix, who we still need to see in a full season, not just 3 games, appetizer. We need to see him in a full season before we can even make any judgment on the kid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's where I'm at. So if you look at it, we don't draft well in the first rounds. Let's be real. You look at it, we really don't. We've had a couple. We miss more than we hit, honestly.
Yeah.
We miss more than we hit. So I'm looking at it like this. If I'm going to trade back, I need 3 guaranteed picks, a second, a third, and a 5th, because I know you're not going to give up a second, third, and a 4th for that spot. So I need a 5th. I need a 5th.
They might try to get you for 2 thirds.
I say give me a swap for whatever first round pick they have behind me.
Exactly.
They're behind me. Give me a 5th, and then you give me like a 6 or 7. I want to stay in that first round.
Nah,
but we're not gonna be able to, bro. If we're gonna get picks, multiple picks, we're not gonna be staying in that first round. That's the thing. You're gonna be giving up a first round pick to garner more picks or whatnot to be able to fill your needs. Because truthfully, we need at least 5 or 6 picks this year.
Somebody in them, if you at 15 and somebody in them 20s, mid to late 20s will trade with you because they want to come up and get a guy that they're in love with, or so infatuated with, or whatever.
They not swapping spots. I'm telling Terry. Here's the thing: Terry ain't gonna swap a spot. Terry is gonna want. If I'm gonna give this up, I'm gonna get 3 guaranteed picks from you this year. Maybe I might get one for you for next year. I don't want one for next year. I want 3 guarantees for that first. That's just me.
But what I just said, I was saying this year, I'm saying I want to swap with your first, but also give me a 5th. And a 6th or 7th. That'll be 3 picks. That's what I was saying before this draft. But I'm saying
I can tell you right now. I can tell you, Keith. I give you this, Keith. You can put Walter Nolan, James Pierce, Michael Williams. You got what's the kid's name? Sorrell out of Texas. You got Kobe Bryant. I mean, you got a ton of defense. This is a defensive heavy draft.
Yeah.
This is a defensive heavy draft. So and matter of fact, it's a running back heavy draft. If you really want to be honest, folks. Yeah, I said it. Guess what? You pass on Jalen Carter. Look, you got 10 running backs that's out that definitely were game changers this year and had some of the same skill sets that Bijan has.
There's one guy I want. If we didn't get Bijan, there was one guy I want. That would have fit the kid from Syracuse. Kid can ball. That kid can ball. That kid can ball.
I like him too. He's definitely nice with it. All I can tell you is at this point, you can just laugh and just say, You know, all you can do is just laugh and just say, you know, it's just one of those things. And I've told people up front, when you look at this draft, you got Ollie Gordon that's coming out of Oklahoma State that everybody forgets about. There's a kid out of Iowa named Caleb Johnson who's nice. Then you got a Marion Hampton. You know what I'm saying? And then hell, we could keep going. You got Dylan Sampson coming out of Tennessee who should have been nominated for a Doak Campbell Award. Y'all can say I'm tripping, but I'm gonna tell you like this here. Bijan didn't do it. Bijan didn't do what Ashton Genty did. Let's be 100. The last running back that you saw that did what Genty did was Barry Sanders. No one's done what Genty's done since Barry Sanders. So that you can put that out of the window. So you can look at how heavy the draft is. You know what I'm saying? You got Quinshawn Judkins, who balled out in the national championship. He was like that at Ole Miss. So again, I know you.
That's the only 2 first-round backs I see is Judkins and Genty. That's all.
Y'all can say what you want because I know y'all love splash plays and I know y'all enjoy having highlights instead of damn wins. I'm looking at the fact that I want to win. I don't need somebody that's just gonna put up highlights or whatnot. Let's just be honest. One of the greatest players in this franchise was a highlight player, not a winner. Say what you want. So all I'm gonna say is this here. I'm keeping that a band. Because you got 15 running backs in this draft that can start. But I think this year that the running backs had from all the backs that you saw shining, Bijan, Saquon, I mean, if I keep naming, there's going to be so many. Derrick Henry. They're going to get guys paid this year.
Hey, look, Georgia product. Cook went off.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. And they're going to get guys paid this year. Let's be honest. They're going to get guys paid this year. So all I'm saying is at this point, you really got to start looking at just tailbacks in general. There are kids that are all over that have that same skill set. They have the same skill set as Bijan. You can look at him. He was in a draft where it wasn't that many running backs. So it was easy to put on there and say he was generational. It was easy to do that. But when you come out of a draft like this, when you have talent stacked upon talent, you can't separate that. I'm not saying he's a bad back. I'm okay with him here. But I'm just saying this was his second year this year, right?
Yeah. No.
This was his second year. This was his sophomore year.
Okay, yeah, it was.
This is his second year.
Right.
The third year, you got a ton of backs coming out now.
I've never seen the draft this deep at running back for quite a while.
So all I'm saying is I just look at it from a different standpoint of you got to address what you need and you can't just buy shiny toys. It's just like paying your rent.
Agreed.
You got to pay your bills. You got to get your groceries. You have to get your necessities before you start getting all the nice shiny things.
Need over want.
Thank you. But a lot of people don't understand that concept because people want what they want. I get it. And that's why you have a good portion of this country in debt.
Yeah.
Unnecessary debt at that. Because I just want this hit. I'm not going to lean towards my needs. I'm just going to get my wants. So, hey, it's what it is. And we still see our fan base complaining about the defense. You know why? Because we really don't invest into the D-line like that. We don't invest into our linebackers like that. So, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that even though I think Bijan is doing great, Jalen Carter would have been good for us because
I'm not even just gonna say Jalen. You had a chance to get Murphy. If you were gonna we got Bijan already. You could have got Murphy last year or even Newton. Murphy came in here, and let's keep it a buck. Bijan had his couple of breaks in that Seattle game, but Murphy was wearing his ass out.
I'm surprised we passed up on Murphy, though, because I thought we were going to draft him. I thought we were going to draft Murphy.
I'm telling you, we had these coaches. You got these coaches that were coming from the West Coast, been out there in L.A. for the last few years. So they had all this tape on these guys out there. They wasn't on this on the East Coast down here, down south at the time. So I think that's why they swayed it.
And so far, the way that Terry has drafted so far has not equated into playoff wins. So again, I'll just say it for what it is. Shout out to the Dixon Way Raid. We appreciate y'all. Garage Game from We Talk Hawks TV as well. Shout out to all our other families out there, man. We definitely appreciate the Dixon Way Raid, Garage Raid, everybody coming through.
What's up, Dixon?
Breathe. What did it call me?
Larry.
Hey, make sure y'all check out Larry from the Dixon Way. He covers all Atlanta sports, everything, baby. Even his wife's stinking filthy Florida Gators that we got the government mule Kyle Pitts from. You're damn right I'm talking trash while I'm giving my boy a promo. And then you have, last but not least, and he's not least, shout out to our other country cousins, as we would say, Damon and those boys from We Talk Hawks TV, man. Matt, Marion, Foot, all those folks there. We definitely appreciate y'all coming through, showing us some love.
Appreciate y'all, man.
So let's go ahead and get to it like this here, man. Here's the next thing that we're going to talk about. The 2024 draft class review. We really don't have much on Penix, but the future looks bright. So we really can't judge him just off of 3 games that he played in.
Agreed.
But everybody else that played pretty much all season, we definitely can talk about him. But Penix had a great outing for 3 games in spite of, you know what I'm saying, just coming up short in that game against Washington where we would have got a playoff bid, got a division and everything else. I don't put that all on him. So
I don't.
But I'm not going to sit there and continue to go over him. But let's talk about this draft class. Casey Washington, Brandon Dorless, Braylon Trice, Ruka Roro, JT Bertrand, Chase McClellan. Let's talk about these guys. Which rookie stood out to y'all the most?
Go ahead, Kato. I'm still thinking.
Well, I mean, I feel like Ruka Roro has some potential if he can continue to stay healthy. He shows some flashes out there. And you know, like I say, I feel like this draft class has a chance to be pretty good once they, you know, get on the field and stay healthy. Like I said, they had a lot of injuries early, so in my opinion, I feel like the jury's still out. And then they got to really give them a chance to play out there. I mean, you got to play these guys, man. Like I was referring back to with the Rams, you have to play these guys for them to be great. Even when they sitting behind these veterans, that's fine to have veterans, but if you're going to draft these guys and you win all defensive linemen, you have to let them play and go out there and show out and show up and show out. So, in my opinion, them taking who they took in Dorless and Ruka Roro and Trice, I feel like Trice may be their linchpin. I mean, we have to see what he has in the Falcons uniform, but I think number 40. Bertrand did flashed a little bit. He had a couple plays out there. He's a little undersized. I think he needs his weight room a little harder and come back more mentally ready. But I feel like he could be okay. But we need to continue to stack and build. But I feel like this draft class as in whole, I want to talk about it as in whole, has a chance to be okay. I think they did like maybe a C- this year, but they have a chance to become at least a B+ next year if they attack the weight room and attack the playbook and do the things that the coaching staff and the defensive coordinator, Ulbrich, and Zach Robinson has in store for them, man. I just feel like this was a learning year, a building year. The head coach still making decisions that he should have already known since it's his second time being a head coach, but he's learning himself still. So I just feel like he did improve the win total by one win, so we couldn't get out of that hole. So I mean, you got to put a point on something.
I'm laughing when you said one game. I'm sorry, I got to laugh because man, look.
I mean, hey, look.
Listen, I can't go off of one. Look, a 1 game improvement still kept our asses at home. It did.
And then
it's sad.
What kept us at home? What kept us at home with Jaden Daniels is still playing at this moment right now. That's what kept us at home.
We had a chance to win that game, bro. I'm not even just talking about that.
We had a chance, but that's the reason why we lost.
Incompetence, sir. How do you look? You lose to a 2-7 Saints team to where you could have wrapped up the division for number 1. You could have wrapped that up. Then you lose the week before to a Seattle Seahawks team that shouldn't have been on the field with this team at all. Come on, dog. Even though it was one game,
I mean, they lost it a lot early in the season, but the culmination, we still had a shot, still had a hope, and Jay Daniels, he put that out with an ashtray.
I got a question for you. You remember in Harlem Nights when Red Fox was at the table and they saw Sugar Man? Hey, we got a lot of money betting. We got a lot of money riding on you. I'm getting ready to knock somebody the. I can't say it on here because it's a PG show. And then he said, "You gonna be all right." You understand what I'm saying? And then his Red.
We do now.
That sucker's gonna kill that boy. I seen him box 33 rounds, 100 rounds one time. And let's be honest, man. A lot of people put money on the Falcons, like those mobsters in Harlem Nights put on that cat that fought Jack Jenkins. And guess what? Like everybody said, we started off hot, and at the end of the season, everybody said like this here: don't take this ass whipping personally.
Bryce Young definitely did.
Bryce Young definitely let us know about that.
Being Steph Curry on the field and whatnot. But
shout out to Eddie Murphy, the late great Richard Pryor, Red Fox. If you don't know about Harlem Nights, ladies and gentlemen, please go watch it. It's a classic movie.
A cult classic.
One of the funniest movies ever made.
Hey, man, we might need somebody to be like Vera in the front office, man. We might need old Vera in the front office telling people to kiss her entire ass.
May she rest in heaven.
Hey, we might need that in the general manager place where somebody tell Rich McKay that. Just saying. Might have to tell Rich McKay that and might have to take him out back.
Rich McKay was hanging out with Arthur Blank down at the golf thing that he owns, man. So they tied in, man. Y'all believe Rich McKay ain't going nowhere.
And can we say it like this? Can we get somebody in the office that's gonna say, "Me and you got to step out back," and I don't want you to take this personally. Just go ahead and do him like Vera did quick in that back alley. Go ahead and knock some sense into him one good time.
You better be careful. You messing with a heavyweight.
And how she said, you gonna have to learn to respect me.
And then when you disrespect me, I'm gonna
kick your ass again. And somebody need to take Raheem out there at the same token and beat him over the head because he was holding on to those timeouts. Somebody needs to get some sense into him.
Oh, you want to hit people with garbage can?
Hey man, hey, somebody need to go ahead and get that 30. Hey, somebody need to get that 38 special and blow up that pinky toe here so he can stop dancing on the sideline and he can be serious. Hey, you know what? We going a little too old school for some of these folks. Some of these folks don't even remember Harlem Nights, man. So I apologize, man.
Look it up. Go look it up.
You go watch it on YouTube.
Go watch it. You never seen that?
No, I'm serious. You go watch it on YouTube right now for free. I just gave you one.
You know what? But we gotta laugh to keep from crying, and we always gotta be positive about it because you know what? As much truth as we tell on here, and we're not gonna sit there, we're not kissing no butt, and really trying to make people feel good. We just gonna tell it like we see it. That's just the problem. Everybody wants to be in feelings, but we'll talk facts. We'll clown a little bit, but we gotta laugh a little bit, man. We can't be ESPN just yet. We can't have that much decorum. We're not getting paid for that. Not yet.
There you go.
I'm speaking that into existence.
There you go. There you go.
Nah, we do it for the love of the show, man. We definitely love coming on here every week and talking to everybody. And man, you know what? If Raheem was a college coach right now, Raheem would probably get an NIL deal and sponsorship from one of these gum companies out here, whether it's Dentine Ice, whether it's Double Bubble or whatnot. Everybody remembers the white tub with the blue painting on it. He might be able to get sponsorship for that.
Hey,
as much gum as he chew more gum than he does calling plays. Just saying.
Minto, the fresh maker.
Hey, somebody go ahead and get that man
that gum.
Hey, man, we got to get him some real. Maybe if we get him some real
Wrigley.
pants. Hey, if we get him some real pants and take
I ain't with,
the corduroy, look, and take the cutoff pants
take
off of him, maybe take the capris off. Maybe the brain will flow all the way through that body and actually help him make better decisions.
Boy, y'all dirty.
You can chew the gum.
No, we got to call a spade a spade. We got to make some kind of fun out of it.
No, y'all did capri, man.
That's what they call, man.
Hey, man, he rocking jogging sweats or whatnot, pulled up. Pull him down.
What they call. That's what he wearing.
Hey, go ahead.
Capri pants.
Hey,
go ahead and bring
at least my coach ain't ashy. Damn it, we'll take a win with that one. At least my coach not ashy.
Yeah, he got the cocoa
like pancake without syrup, man.
Yeah, cocoa butter be on point, boy.
Yeah, he'll be ashy.
Cocoa butter.
But in all seriousness, though, ladies and gentlemen, we like to cut up a little bit, but we're gonna get back serious with it. So, looking at us having Jeff Ulbrich as a defensive coordinator, I think we need to honestly look at many different ways of how we can build this defense into actually being monstrous at this point. What can you build off of? What can you go get? What can you bring in? Because at this point, Raheem, you shot your shot. You already shot your shot. You've picked 2 defensive coordinators. So what that means is if this does not work this season, bye-bye. Hey, you in Atlanta, we might as well go ahead and put over the PA system, start playing that jagged edge goodbye. That's what you're going to play. That's what we're going to play for you if you don't get it right. Because at this point, you've now got to draft defensive players. Stop just being hung up on these West Coast guys, man. Seriously. No disrespect to the Pac-12. Well, it was the Pac-12. But listen, you got to start looking at guys, not just at Georgia. When I say your backyard, I'm speaking on in the South. The South. Not just your own backyard. I'm not just speaking Georgia. Yes, I'm a Georgia fan, but there are a ton of talented players all throughout the South that we miss out on.
All the time.
Now, I don't mind you drafting out of Syracuse because we honestly know that Fran Brown is a guy that actually coaches and develops his players. If you want to go down the route to bring in another Syracuse guy, I'm okay with it because we know what you're going to get. We know what Fran Brown brings to the table.
Bring me another Bergeron, please.
Exactly. Give me a right tackle. Another place that I'm looking at Iowa. I've already said it. I want a guy from Iowa State on that offensive line.
United States of Iowa.
Anything that you get out of the Midwest right there, I'm fine with. Lineman-wise. Hell, I'll even look at Nebraska right now. People sleeping on that. Still, think about it. Raiola was a freshman. They turned it around. I'm just looking at the fact that we need somebody to protect Penix's blind side. We need somebody to protect Michael Penix's blind side. If you can't get Kinlaw, if you get Kinlaw to come in as a free agent, if you can't get Walker out of Kentucky, go get Walter Nolan. Or if you don't get Walter Nolan, go get JJ Pegues out of freaking Ole Miss. It's so many guys that you can go around and go look at. That's just me.
We got to hit a grand slam with this draft, man.
And then, hell, I said it. You remember I said it a couple of drafts ago. We didn't get any offensive linemen out of Ohio State. That's a place that I wouldn't mind getting a lineman from.
I mean, you see what happened Monday. I'm just saying.
So at this point, I'm looking at it like this. You've got to first, I feel like you need to scour home. The problem is Terry's gumbo ain't got enough seasoning in it, if you want to be frank.
No.
I expect my Cajun gumbo to have the crab legs, rice, boudins, sausage, chicken, shrimp, okra. I mean, Terry's missing a lot of the seasoning. Terry don't even got the roux right now.
Damn.
So until you can get your roux right, and when I say your roux, what I mean from that is you've got to fix your trenches first. You've got to fix the trenches.
Yeah,
and until we fix the trenches, we're still gonna be having this same conversation year in and year out.
We neglect the trenches until like the 7th or 8th round. Then all of a sudden we might find a player and think, okay, now that's the missing link, and our trenches still get ran through every freaking year. I mean, I gotta try to emulate what the Cowboys did. When the Cowboys were good a while ago, they first 2 picks were linemen. One from Michigan, Zach Martin, and another cat from freaking I forgot where he's from. And within 2 years, they became Pro Bowl players. I'm just saying.
And here's the other thing. I'm gonna give you this here. I'll give you a guy that you got to look at, and he's in the Midwest. There's a guy by the name of Erante Ursay out of Minnesota. 6'6", 330 pounds.
God dang.
Solid player, possible starter, starting right off. He's an offensive tackle. He can play left tackle. He can play right tackle. And the thing about him is good feet, good hands, and definitely is a guy that you can trust within the trenches. Now, and I'm giving guys all the way around because, again, I'm not just an SEC homer. I'm a college football fan. And there's a kid out of North Dakota State that I would look at. His name is Gray Zabra, 6'6", 305 pounds. He shows the critical. He has critical tactics when you talk about he's cagey, he's smart, and he's physical. He's a natural, and he can move. So again, when I say I look at players and I look at different places where guys come from. And I'm still, like I said, I'm still going to continue to keep pushing the narrative. Bring my boy Carson Vincent from Alabama A&M to Atlanta. Please bring Carson Vincent to Atlanta.
You talk about that large human being you told us about?
Alabama A&M, yes. I showed the picture of him. The footage doesn't lie. The footage does not lie. 6'6", 305 pounds. And definitely is a developmental tackle. He's a guy that would be similar to Nate Bergeron on the other side, just a little bit quicker.
Give me another guy like that.
Quicker.
Give me another guy like that, man. I feel a lot more comfortable pinning on the pinner. Please. That's all I ask for.
Yep. And my thing is we got to protect Penix. It's the future quarterback of this team. If you don't hit a home run in that first round or the second round, if you don't go O-tackle, right tackle in the first round, go D-line. You don't go D-line in the first round, you go tackle. Those are the only areas you need to be hitting in that first and second round.
I agree.
Now, if Jalen Walker or Michael Williams fall,
I
might have to kind of. You can't pass up on them.
I'm all in.
I'm all in.
I'm all in on Jalen Walker. Michael, he's a little injury prone, man. I'm kind of skeptical of him.
I say this about Michael. Michael's going to be a better pro than he will be a college player because remember, there are many college players that we said was banged up. Frank Gore was a guy that stayed hurt at Miami. He stayed hurt.
And that man became Iron Man.
I could be totally wrong. Now, I love his play.
One of our Bulldogs, Thomas Davis. Think about it. Thomas Davis, one of the greatest Bulldogs on the defensive side of the ball ever. The man blew his knee out.
He wasn't hurt all the time at Georgia.
As a safety, outside of him and Jake Scott, I'm going to be honest with you. Jake Scott has him because Jake was a little bit better. But, man, Thomas, the reason I say Thomas is one of the best safeties we ever had, Thomas played all over the field. You remember that. He never came off the field.
No. I mean, I love Tommy D. I'm saying he wasn't hurt all the time at Georgia.
No.
I'm saying he got to the league.
No, I'm saying, he blew his knee out in the league. That's what I'm saying. But he still etched out a double-digit career.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, another guy that I would take in the fourth round, the speed ain't there, but we know the knowledge is there. I say take Dan Jackson if you get him in the fourth or fifth round.
Ooh.
I'm just saying we need a safety because guess what? Simmons ain't gonna be here, and we don't know how Helms is gonna be.
Man, we missed out on Tuesday.
He'll light it up. Because I ain't
throwing names out there, man. And here's the thing: if we're gonna go cornerback, I say go Kobe Bryant out of Kansas. If we're gonna go corner,
He good.
you go
I
Kobe Bryant
I
out
like
of Kansas.
I like Kobe Bryant. No, I was gonna say
go ahead.
Train of thought. Go ahead.
And
now,
I'm gonna give you another guy you go at corner. A lot of people aren't talking about him, but I'm gonna give you another guy you can go at cornerback or whatever that's nice with it. And Trey Amos out of Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That is a guy that I would take.
You proved that to us freaking when he played Georgia.
And here's the thing: we say we don't want any more small corners. There are two corners that are tall. There's a guy at Iowa State. His name is Darian Porter. 6'4", 200 pounds, runs a 4.3. Very technical, rangy, athletic, and will come down in the box and will hit you. The last Iowa State cornerback that I talked about is balling in Baltimore, TJ Tampa.
Where you was.
So he got hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I haven't missed on my DBs yet.
I haven't
missed on my DBs yet.
I want a TJ Tampa go down bad. Oh my God.
And I'm gonna give you another cornerback that you should look at. And folks, if you don't know about him, you need to look him up. He's actually about 6'1", and he's 189. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say 190 pounds. His name's Jamari Harris. He's a bump and run corner, but he can also play. He can also play in the role of being a zone corner as well. He's an outside zone corner right now. So again, when you talk about it, he doesn't have a ton of limitations. I look at the fact that I would trust him at this point. I would trust bringing in somebody like that. But again, long as we don't get small on the corners and safeties, I'm okay. We got to stop bringing in these midgets.
Yeah, man.
I agree.
They got to be at least 6'1" or taller. 6'1" or taller.
I even take 6 feet. I take 6 feet.
6 feet.
That's as small as I'm going. I don't want anybody under 6 feet at corner this year. Not on this defense.
I want you because it's some big old receivers out here, man. So we gotta have 6'1" or taller, man. We got at least match up. And you could be 6 feet if you got the kind of hops like what's the name had back in the day that played for Brent Grimes.
I got a question.
Be small.
I got a question. No, yeah, I got a question. Okay. What do we do with Troy Anderson?
Turn him into an edge. I've been saying this for the longest. Let him play edge. He's not a linebacker.
You think? What do you think, Jeff? What do you think Jeff Albrecht is gonna do with him?
He's going to put him on the edge. Yes. Thank you. I'm not comparing him to Patrick Kearney, but he's got the physical measurables. I am not calling him Pat Kearney. He's got the physical measurables of Pat Kearney. I just feel like this. Put him on the edge. He's not a linebacker. Let him go hunt. Don't make the game complicated for him. Let him use his athletic ability. Now, there's a kid that I would say I would look at the linebacker position. I've been telling people linebackers is something that we're limited with picks. So we're going to have to get in the undrafted free agent market if we don't trade back and get picks. Right. We're going to have to. And again, you can get MJ Sherman at linebacker out of Nebraska, who used to play for Georgia. He was an edge as well. I think you could bring him in. 6'3", runs a 4.4, 250. That's a guy that can come off the edge with an attitude, or he can also play in pass coverage as well. That is a guy that I would look at and I would see as a tough guy to even play against. So it's many guys that you can look at, but linebacker is also something of need.
Yeah, because we need somebody to help out Alex now.
Mm-hmm. So here's the question. Would you be opposed to taking an HBCU linebacker as an undrafted free agent or a late draft pick?
Hell no. If he's good, he's good. No. Why? Why would you?
I mean, it's a lot of people who got they have their feelings towards that. They don't feel like they play against. They say they don't play against top competition. That's what we hear.
if you can play football, it's gonna show. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'll give you this. I've already said the guy that I would really look at, and I've been saying this for the longest. I'm looking at Aaron Smith. I'm looking at Aaron Smith out of South Carolina State at linebacker. Another guy that I'm gonna look at, and I know this might sound crazy to you guys. I'm looking at a kid at cornerback spot, and this is an undrafted free agent. We can bring him in and let him play special teams, but I'm looking at a guy out of Alabama State by the name of James Burgess. He's a corner. 53 tackles this year. He's got 53 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 4 interceptions, and 6 pass breakups. He's a big physical corner. He's over 6 feet tall, by the way. Just giving y'all the heads up. He's just a little light in the butt. He need a couple of biscuits and some, a couple of pieces of ham and steak and everything to get some weight.
We'll get him right. We'll get him right.
But he excels in bump and run coverage, and he also plays in deep zone, and he's very strong in run support. Now, the other thing that he would be an undrafted guy, but I'll tell you this: the one thing that he would struggle in, and he's got to get better, and AJ struggled with it, and I think it's a simple fix. It's pretty much being able to identify with play recognition and fluidity. I think that Jeff Ulbrich can turn him into that. And the reason I say that, guess who we had that was like that? Remember a guy by the name of Isaiah Oliver?
Yeah.
Think about that. Isaiah Oliver turned his career around when he went to New York after his last year with us.
Yeah, did he move to safety? Did he stay at safety?
Move from corner to safety. And that's why I'm saying, with the way that Jeff Ulbrich thinks, I think he can take a guy that's raw like that and mold him, because he's played corner his whole time he was at Alabama State. You put a little weight on him and you get him to start looking, he could actually not just be a corner, he would actually be a good nickel back as well for us, because we lack size and aggressiveness at that position. So I want to ask y'all something. So Texas boy put this in the chat.
He's too slow to play safety. I think he need to move the linebacker.
You talking about strong
just
safety?
my assessment on that.
Yeah, he said strong safety. I wouldn't trust him. So here's a question I got for you guys.
I'm not saying he can't ball, but
this is the last question I got for y'all.
I just feel like he's too slow to play safety in the NFL.
What would you like to see out of our scouting department? And what would you like to see changed? And what would you like to see done better? Because this is the key to what is going to make the Falcons a make or break franchise for the future.
I would like our scouting department not to have tunnel vision, be able to see everything. And for me, I want our scouting department to really look at what we draft and why we draft, and go after players, not just for the flash. I'm talking about football players. People that come to work every day with the lunch pail, ready to work, and coachable players. I mean, I know you ain't gonna be able to get that from a sample time, but our scouting department don't get enough. Really don't hit on the first 3 rounds of the draft. Occasionally. Like you said, we are middle of the draft freaking franchise when it comes to our draft pick. When fourth on, we pretty much spot on. So we need to be able to at least hit in all round. Not all the time, but majority of the time. And we be like with the Kyle Pitt. That was literally 4 years we could have had a player that could have impacted us, that probably could have got us into the playoff.
Well, I feel like out of scouting department, I want to just piggyback on what the historian brought up earlier. I just want I want our scouting department to really hone in on the SEC. I mean, I want you guys to go in and scout it. There's so much talent right here within like a 200 or 300 mile radius of the Falcons facility, man. You just have to really hunker down and see what these guys have to offer. You have to get guys that are going to fit the makeup of the city of Atlanta, the community, and everything. So to make it work for them, because a lot of times players are just in the wrong situation for the wrong city, wrong scheme, wrong coaching staff. So they can go somewhere else and be very productive. So we have to take guys that are going to be starters moving forward. Stop taking reaches and project players. You know, you can see a bona fide starter in front of you, like a Jalen Carter. You can see those guys right there in front of you, man. Bona fide starters. Stop reaching for guys. Stop taking developmental players, thinking you can turn peanut butter into a 5-star steak or something of that nature. You cannot do that. What you're gonna have to do your due diligence and continue to scout at a very high level. And like I said, and don't poo-poo the HBCU like he's saying also, because you got quality players everywhere. You have to really get off your butt and stop doing your due diligence and going across the country and putting the work in. I don't feel like they're really putting the work in. I think they're going with scouting services, and they're going to look at some players that they feel like top players in the draft, but they're not really digging deep and going to get some of these guys that people are not talking about, like going to find a DeMarcus Ware out of Troy when he came out of Troy. I don't see you going to go get no guys like that. I don't see you.
I got one for you.
I
got one for you. One of the East Side's own, Mr. Roberts Mathis out of Alabama A&M, who's possibly already been mentioned for the NFL Hall of Fame. Dwight Freeney wasn't anything without that man on the other side. Let's keep that a buck.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I mean, guys are just coming out that other franchises found at small schools, man. I understand he was a high draft pick, and he rose up the draft board, but you know they had the conviction to go take a Josh Allen out of Wyoming. You know. Mm-hmm. You know, I know, but that took courage and conviction. He wasn't one of those guys that were at the Heisman ceremonies and stuff. But you had to have the conviction to go take a guy out of a smaller school. We have to scour the market and go out there and find the guy that really fits the city of Atlanta. Is going to move the needle forward for the franchise and for this organization to be prosperous in the future. I mean, we're tired of the movies we've been watching. We're trying to write a new script and move forward in a positive light. So that's what it's going to take. You may have to revamp your scouting department. Everybody's saying fire the guys, but I mean, you got to keep some blood in there because they know the area. But I think these guys are just being lazy, and they need to really put the work in and stop going off of just the recruiting and the scouting services that are out there, and they're just going up the guys are on the top of the surface. They need to really start digging deep. Stay away from the Pac-12. I mean, not the Pac-12. It's not. I mean, the Big 12, Big 10. I don't know. They got some.
Well, they got the franchise quarterback
over
there. So
yeah. So you might want to.
I understand they got him from over there. I said stay away from them. Their district.
No, he's saying stay away from it. No, I get where you're coming from. Stop. You're saying let's stop going for all these other players that's over there. And we got. We got Drake too.
I'm not saying.
So I get it.
I'm not saying that there are not players out there, but it seems like we are purposely going to the West Coast for some reason, because Texas is the South, but it's kind of going towards the West too now.
Can't do it. Remember this: the last guy they took in the first round that was on the defense from the West Coast, was your boy Marcus Trufant, aka Toast.
I thought it was Tack
McKinnon. I'm sorry. It was Tack.
It was Tack.
Excuse me.
I'm doing it was Tack McKinnon.
Wait a minute. And guess who actually had pretty much put him out there for us to take? Guess who the coach was?
Yeah, I know.
Jeff Ulbrich. Ulbrich was the one who suggested Tack. Yeah. That was Ulbrich.
Lord.
So again, do you really trust what we getting ready to go through right now?
No.
That's all I'm gonna ask you. Do you really trust
like I said,
what we're getting ready to have?
Stay away from out there.
No.
Please stay away from out there.
Because breaking don't happen so hard to do.
Southeast.
I'm gonna tell
Or
you
if you
like
do
this.
go
Y'all
up
can say
north, go to Ohio State.
homers. I'm gonna give you this. Y'all can say we're homers or whatever, but Howie Roseman is one of the smartest GMs in the game. Say what you want, and here's the thing. Howie's a Florida Gator, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He's Gator alum. Howie took all those Bulldogs, and you look where the hell they are.
I ain't saying about. I didn't say take no boat.
No.
he's
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the folks in the chat.
Okay.
I'm talking about the folks in the chat.
I'm like,
You know, let's just be real on this. You look at that Eagles team or whatnot. Look at that whole defense. That whole defense. You had a national championship defense in your backyard and pro scouts were saying NFL talent day one starters. And now you're seeing everywhere that these guys have gone, all of them played in the playoffs this year. Every last one of them played in the playoffs this year. From Green Bay, then you got Philly. Then you got some over there in LA with the Rams and Buffalo. So again, all I'm gonna say is this: you let that pass. You let that pass, and that was in your backyard.
Hey, look,
you had dibs on a lot of this stuff. So here's the thing: people want to say we're homers. So what? We are, but guess what? We also call out other talent. But if you look at that talent is playing on Sunday. No, wait a minute. Trayvon Walker's balling down there in Jacksonville, and Tyson Campbell got that contract because he was balling. That team is just a mess right now.
Yeah, the front office
their stats, they balling.
Yeah,
the front office screwed the pooch on that. And then here's the other thing. Nakobe Dean hurt his knee. I get it. He hurt his knee this year. But before he injured his knee, who do you think was anchoring that defense? Who do you think was running it?
Nakobe Dean.
Thank you. And then they were smart enough to go 2 top elite corners. 2 young elite corners that they drafted in the first round for both of them.
Kelly Ringo.
Nah, not Ringo. Talking about Cooper DeJean and
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is here's the thing. When you look at how the draft was constructed, you go get the best. All y'all want to say get the best player available. I keep hearing this in the chat. So y'all tell me this. So with the best player available, Quinyon Mitchell out of I forget the school he came out. Boise State, right? No. He came out of Toledo. My bad. He came out of Toledo. So let's talk about it. Everybody says that we're homers, but Philly wasn't a homer. Guess what they did? They picked the best players out of the draft, the best players available. That's what the BPA is. Best players available. They changed defensive coordinators, by the way. Let's get this straight. The defensive coordinator that they had in the Super Bowl left. Then you had another DC to come in. They still got to the playoffs last year. Yes, they got knocked out by Tampa, but now they're in the NFC Championship game with a whole new defensive coordinator.
See the trend?
See the trend? Best player available. Doesn't matter where they come from. Guess what? If you got them in your backyard, guess what? You take them. Common sense.
Just saying.
I know a lot of people aren't going to like what I'm going to say, but hey, who cares? I'm going to speak the truth.
I'm trying to win.
I'm going to be as respectful as I can.
I'm trying to win. I don't
need flash plays. I need wins. To hell with the highlights. To hell with the stats. Because guess what? These stats are not putting asses in seats. People are selling their tickets. People are giving up on this team. Let's get this straight. Because we can't win. Because we can't win. That's the reason why this fan base has PTSD. And let's talk about this. I'm going to say this here. I'm more entertained with wins instead of stats. That's what I'm entertained with.
Yeah.
You can put up all the stats of Bijan and say all the stuff you want. Defense wins championships. Offense takes you there. Without a defense, you can't win. And that's in any sport that you got to play defense, whether it's baseball, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's soccer. You can't win if you can't stop somebody.
And we couldn't stop a cold.
So I'm gonna say this here. Terry Fontenot, you should know better. You came from an organization that understood how to draft players, not just the best available. Y'all didn't care where they came from, but you definitely did grab the guys that were near and dear. You grab guys out of LSU, you grab guys out of Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. You guys drafted the marquee players. And sometimes you took some of the guys that weren't the popular players that could ball. Atlanta, unless you get this scouting department corrected, we're never going to be a good team. We're going to always be sitting here having conversations, making jokes about it, not talking about winning championships, not talking about winning division titles, not winning when it counts. So at this point, we've got to change some things in this front office.
Stop thinking in mediocrity.
You got to change.
I mean,
and now, when I say your ass got to change,
Lord,
that means you got to take your head out your ass. Excuse my language, but you got to take your head out your ass. Because at the end of the day, it's all about winning and losing. And we've done more losing than we've done winning. So until you can figure out this scouting department, I don't want to hear a damn thing about Terry cooking. Because the only thing he's done is burnt the yellow rice, messed up the gumbo, and literally put us in a spot to where, hey, you've been handcuffed. You're trying to put offense in seats because you're trying to sell tickets. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But guess what? You'll sell more tickets when you decide to put a defense on the field and win games. So until then, stop trying to sell tickets, man. Put some wins on the field, man, so we can stop having the bad guy segments, man. I'm at this point to where, Terry, if you don't get it right, my friend, you get your monkey ass up out of here. And I said it. Just because you hit on one or two draft picks don't mean anything. I need you to hit. I need you to hit on as many draft picks as you can and stop trying to just sell tickets. Start creating a culture around here where we can at least win. I'm still Team Terry. I want you to be here, but I need for you to really take a step back and start making better choices. That's all I got, ladies and gentlemen, as the bad guy. So we definitely appreciate y'all for stopping through and stopping by tonight and taking time out of your schedule to talk to us. Because at the end of the day, we all want the Falcons to win.
Uh-huh.
We just tired of losing.
Yes, Lord.
Because my thing is, I'm still going to wear this logo. I'm still going to rock it. I'm still going to talk my trash. But at the same time, we got to have an honest conversation. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we do have some interviews that will be coming up. We have former Philadelphia 76er and former Atlanta Hawk who played with Sweet Lou Hudson and Pistol Pete Maravich, Mr. Wally Jones, Villanova Hall of Famer, as well as a respected man out of the city of Philly or whatnot. And then we also have Mr. Bob Dandridge coming to the show on February the 13th. Another Hall of Fame NBA player. I got to get my Mr. Bob Dandridge up in here because we got the CIAA tournament taking place in a few months down in Baltimore. And he came out of Norfolk State and was one of the best guards that ever played in the game. He's a Hall of Famer in college and also in the NBA and a two-time NBA champ. So again, we got some football players coming through here too. Not gonna reveal everything, but those are just some ball players we got coming through. And we might have Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett might be coming through pretty soon, and also Daniel Flick will help us out with the wrap up in a couple of weeks. So y'all stay tuned because this offseason is gonna be fun. And we're also going to have a great drafting show. And we're also going to, it's so many things that we're going to do, but you got to tune in to find out what we got going. So as we say up in here, we'll catch you later. You either get right or you get left, man. We out of here. Birdcage forever.
One
Peace.
love. Peace.